Now on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m., a new deadline for the Department of Justice. A judge orders the feds to come up with a version of the Mar-a-Lago search warrant that can go public.
New this morning, sinking home sales put the market in a recession, but prices are still high. Could a correction be just around the corner?
Prepare for more traffic. Colorado's largest school district is back to class Monday, and you're on notice. Denver police will be watching.
It did. We won.
He scores! Nazem Kadri! The Kadri man can! I didn't see it, but they did!
And the Avalanche are losing one of its star players from this past season. The future for Nazem Kadri after helping the team bring home the Stanley Cup.
We're going to miss him. At least we have the Too Many Men shirt.
That's right.
To remember him by, yes.
And he still needs his day with the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
He's going to take it to a mosque for the very first time, which is so cool. Yeah.
We'll miss him, but can you blame him?
No.
Well,
$49 million.
big payday.
You gotta go for the money.
That's right. It'll be a hockey season before we know it here.
We're doing Broncos Orange Friday. I know. Again, they got the second preseason game tomorrow. Huh?
Got to get more orange in that wardrobe, people. Yeah, the season hasn't even technically started, but yeah, we're looking at what's going to be a pretty nice weekend. If you like it a little cooler and more, well, kind of fall-like. What we saw earlier this week, we're in the 60s now. You can see here from Westminster, a little mix of sun and clouds for our early morning drive. We're going to be well into the 70s by about lunchtime, mid to upper 70s by that point. Not as hot as what we saw yesterday. We're going to see low to mid 80s from Denver north up to Fort Collins. Parker and Castle Rock, you'll be at right around 80 degrees this afternoon. So it's a little cooler, but a pleasant day. A very slight chance for a few afternoon thunderstorms today. Most of what we're going to see, that's right around 3:30, is going to be in the mountains today. We have a better chance of seeing potentially more moderate to heavy rainfall here in Denver tomorrow. I'll show you what that looks like on our Super 7 day, and I'll show you just how much cooler it gets tomorrow too. Jason, coming up.
We do have a couple of crashes out and about, and we do have some issues here and there. You take a look at the drive up to the north side of town, where we have this wreck up here in Brighton on the northbound side of Highway 85, right at Bridge Street, and it's causing a slight delay for you. Probably not worth an alternate route at this point, but you will see that activity. I've been watching this camera here on the eastbound side of 270. As you take a look at it from just after Quebec, you can see the flashing lights over here on the right side. It looks like it's a flashing from a construction truck, not from a crash, but you see everybody slowing down, so it's backing up traffic back to Vasquez, and that's why that drive time right now is heavier than normal on that eastbound side compared to the westbound side, where it's usually wide open. A couple problems down to the south side. One, a crash on southbound Parker Road right here at Cottonwood, right near E470, so it's a couple minutes there. And if you take a look at the camera here over by Lone Tree, this wreck on the southbound side is causing a slight delay. Again, not worth an alternate route, trying to go from, let's say, Arapahoe Road down to Lincoln Avenue.
Thank you, Jason. We begin with three big things to know to start your Friday. The man wanted by Aurora police that prompted an hours-long standoff yesterday is still on the run. They identified him as 38-year-old Alexander Smith. Lockdowns for the North Aurora neighborhood off 19th and Akron were lifted overnight.
CU police are still looking for the man who attacked a female student in a dorm Wednesday night, and they're urging students to be on high alert right now. The suspect was only identified as a white, college-aged man, about 6 feet tall. Not a very good description. Typically, this is a big party weekend in college towns before classes start on Monday.
A federal judge in Florida says he is leaning towards releasing some of the evidence the Justice Department gathered to justify its search of former President Trump's home. The judge is giving the DOJ until next Thursday to suggest redactions to the warrant. Former President Trump has said he wants the full affidavit unsealed, but the Department of Justice wants to keep it under wraps to protect both witnesses and FBI agents.
I guarantee you that the CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, and the NSC are all looking at this and saying it's dangerous for this country to get out.
Now, one of the documents the judge did unseal shows the DOJ was worried about destruction of evidence. Trump and his allies say the FBI couldn't have found classified information at Mar-a-Lago because he had a standing order to declassify anything he took out of the Oval Office. But at least 18 top former members of his administration say that's false.
Could a housing recession finally bring the American dream back within reach? After years of a scorching hot housing market, sales have fallen nationally for 6 months now.
Yeah, technically that is the definition of a housing recession. Experts are conflicted, though, about what comes next. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us. Some say a price correction is definitely coming, maybe even here in Colorado. Veronica.
They are. And you know, that really is music to Coloradans' ears, who for so long have now seen housing prices just continuously increase. I mean, we were seeing houses go for ridiculous prices, right? But soon we know that could be changing. So this monthly report, it was put out by the National Association of Realtors. It says the sales of previously owned homes fell nearly 6% in July, and that was compared to June. That's the slowest sales pace right at the start of the pandemic. On top of still high interest rates, builders just aren't churning out enough homes, and that's really the reasoning there. One estimate puts the shortfall as high as 4 million houses. Here in Colorado, I told you this last week about the dip in sales. Inventory is up, but so are prices, and that's the one thing that's kind of balancing out these recession fears that are going on right now. Some analysts, and I have to caution everyone, this isn't every single analyst out there, they are forecasting a price correction of 10 to 15% next year. When we talked with the Colorado Association of Realtors last week, they said the only thing we can really expect is change.
I think everybody gets a little bit concerned whenever there's a shift or a change from what they've heard. And I almost want to caution buyers that there's always a shift. There's always a change. You know, the real estate market is a living, breathing thing. It ebbs and flows on a daily basis. And so, you know, I think any one of us could really hypothesize that the best time to buy was yesterday.
And of course, there is some optimism that sales could rebound in the fall when gas and other prices fall. That is, if interest rates don't rise. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Yeah, those interest rates are definitely making things more expensive right now. Thank you, Veronica. Well, Denver Public Schools head back on Monday, and despite declining enrollment and some schools facing closure, a new charter school could be opening soon. The 5280 Freedom School focuses on Black students in particular. The Denver School Board denied its application to become a charter back in June, but the school board appealed to the State Board of Education and won. The Denver School Board had argued the school would struggle to attract enough students. However, the state said it's unfair to assume it won't be successful.
Speaking of school, time to start paying a little closer attention to how fast you're going. School zone speed limits are back up and running. And Denver 7's Jessica Crawford joins us this morning because Denver police know it's an adjustment for drivers. They want to keep the kids safe, so they are increasing enforcement.
That's right. You know, after so many months of not having school, some drivers, like, take a look at this one, they're driving pretty quickly down these roads that otherwise at this time during a school year would have to drive at 20 miles per hour. So you got to be mindful moving into Monday that we're going to be extra careful, drive a little slower for those new drivers, for those walkers, and for the bikers. So come Monday, students throughout Denver are heading back to class. Denver police say they're going to be at the school zones to make sure that people are minding the rules of the road and slowing down. They have these driving tips for commuters. Stop for school buses that are loading and unloading students. Pay attention to those school crossing guards. Okay, they know things. And remember, stopped vehicles may be allowing children to cross the road, so stay alert and do not pass them. Plus, walking to the bus stop can be dangerous for small children, so parents of younger kids should consider walking those kids to and from their bus stops. Another really important tip, don't text or otherwise use a cell phone unless you can use it absolutely hands-free. That way you're making sure that you don't get injured due to distractions and that you don't hurt the kids. Live from Denver, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Yeah, your head really has to be on a swivel through those school zones. All right, thank you, Jessica. Well, as we mentioned, we have our orange on to support the Broncos today. They're flying out to take on the Buffalo Bills tomorrow. Russell Wilson and the other starters are not expected to play much, if at all, again this weekend. Head coach Nathaniel Hackett says the risk of preseason just isn't worth the benefit for the veterans. But it is an early game. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
All right. Well, Avs fans, hold on to your hats. We do have some news that's a bit of a bummer here.
Yeah, the man who brought this unbelievable shot in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 4, after recovering from injury, Nazem Kadri, the overtime winner. He is leaving the team. He was a fan favorite for many. He signed a 7-year, $49 million deal with the Calgary Flames. The Avs were only able to offer him a short-term deal because of salary cap issues and other expiring contracts. But man, his final year in Denver was a great one. He battled adversity, racist attacks during the playoffs, handled it all with class. The fans supported him. He finished with a career-high 87 points last season, plus an All-Star appearance. And not only that, he helped raise more than $60,000 for the Kadri Foundation for Mental Health Awareness after promoting the Too Many Men t-shirt during the Stanley Cup Championship parade through Denver.
I still have to get my shirts.
Yes.
I love those, yeah.
and he still has his day with the Stanley Cup coming up. And he's going to face the Avs really quickly this season. Calgary's first game of the season is in Calgary against the Avs, October 13th.
That always seems to happen. Russell Wilson's going to be back in Seattle for his first game, so.
It'll be fun
exciting
to
time.
welcome him back to Ball Arena whenever that time comes, Lisa.
I'll cheer him on early in the season, and then as we get towards the end of it, if we're getting close, no way. Low to mid 60s here at the bus stop early on. Mostly sunny skies to start. As your kids are getting off the bus later on today, low mid 80s. Slight chance for a few thunderstorms today. We're going to see a better chance of rain tomorrow. I'll show you what that looks like here on our Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes.
And looking down to the south side of town along the Santa Fe corridor, looks really nice here into Inglewood. You can see that just a moment ago. Air Tracker 7 here along Santa Fe at Hamden looks pretty nice for us anywhere you want to go. No issues with the light rail down that way, but I've seen a ton of bus routes here delayed on the RTD system. Check with the RTD website to see if your bus is delayed here this morning.
Well, it may be August as we are still surviving the summer heat, but it's already time to gear up for ski season. The big sales returning for Labor Day weekend.
If your college students still rely on the bank of mom and dad, it may be time for some tough love. With costs rising on food and all things back to school, we have some tips to save.
And coming up, what have you accomplished during the pandemic? Most of us would probably say breaking in the couch, but not my guy Nick. He has mastered an ancient skill and has found peace and purpose. You'll meet him next.